What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how y'all doing? Cosmic Carry here, and today I shall be starting off some, I don't know, like a new thing, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to be going through all my tier 10s. I recently tried to do like a garage update. I've got 160 tanks. It's way too many to get through. They bore you to death. You know, some of them are just plain old boring, who kind of cares, etc, etc. But I was kind of looking at my tier 10s, and there are quite a few that I haven't done that many vids in, or I haven't done any vids at all. So I'm going to be doing some like refresher type vids, whatever you want to call it, in all of my tier 10s, you know, apart from the Death Star and the E100, and just kind of going through, you know, what made me go for them, etc, etc, my experience in these tanks and all of that jazz. So today we're going to be kicking things off with the very first tank. Which tank shall we let's do the T57. I'm live comming in the garage, reviewing the tank, and then it's gameplay commentary, etc, etc. So we're going to be doing, first of all, the T57. Let's have a look. I don't play this tank at all, you know. I really don't play it that much. And where is it? Yeah, there you go, 94 games. That's hardly anything. I've had it for ever and a day. I initially wanted to I kind of discovered Scout tanks, so I wanted to get the T71, so I played that to death, and I eventually unlocked the T69, T54E1, both of these tanks, okay, you know, pen lackluster, and eventually I unlocked the T57 Heavy. What do I think of this tank? I mean, it's a 100% a DPM monster, you know, it really is. It's just, it is an insane tank. And it's very, very much an OP tank. It's very much one of those, you know, if they got rid of the Wolfentrager E100, if they reduced the penetration on the Death Star, then they would be complaining, you know, everybody would be complaining about the T57, in my opinion, you know, because it is just a DPM monster. It has over base 3,000 damage output per minute, you know, base. So I think it's 3,100, around that. And if you add all your bells and gizmos and whistles, etc, etc, you can push that up to 3,400. I don't think it hits 3,500, but that is insane. You know, that is number one out of all tier 10 heavies, number one out of all tier 10s. I think on PC, the brand new Swedish TD, you know, takes that kind of spot. But yeah, it's just insane. Well, when it comes to tanks, if there's ever so slightly, if they're overpowered, I don't like them. You know, generally I don't like them because it's just way too easy. It's not challenging for me, and it just kind of like puts me off. You know, having said that, I play the Death Star. Having said that, you know, do I get 10k damage in every single Death Star game? No, I don't. You know, the Death Star has its limitations. You know, the big time has its drawbacks, big time. You ever shot a shell and missed, you know, 4 or 5 times in a row? Try playing the Death Star. Piece of crap tank. But you know, when it works, it works. And with this tank, it's just straight up overpowered. You know, it's just insanely. That's why people play these type of tanks. You know, it is just insanely overpowered, and it doesn't require necessarily strategy, I would say. You know, in the conventional sense, like when you're playing, for instance, on Ensk, you know, as an example. it's just simply you've got 4 shells, and pretty much this is the E5's gun. Just what a worse aim time, and it's an autoloader. But yeah, I'll show you guys. And 4 shells in a clip, 400. So you're punching out 1600 in a matter of I think it's 6 seconds, etc., etc. But it's not necessarily strategy, because it's simply you pop out of cover and you track, and then you allow the enemy. Well, the main focus here is track them, make them use their repair kit, track them again, if at all possible, do damage when you're tracking, and then just the remaining 2 shells, just go for it. Try and inflict damage with all 4 shells. That's the main thing with this tank. It's a track eating monster tank. It's a repair kit eating monster tank. It's a DPM monster tank. That's what it is. And simply put, I've been playing all of my tanks for the last couple of days, to get some nice, decent gameplay, etc., etc. And some of them, they would take 2-3 games to get a really decent game, YouTube worthy for you guys. Some of them take slightly more, for instance, the T92 artillery. The T57, it was just 1 take. First game, absolutely unbelievable game. And that was it, And keep in mind, I have not touched this tank in, I'd say, 2 years, So that, in a nutshell, is this tank. That pretty much sums up this tank. How overpowered it is, Anyhow, let's get into the gameplay. I kid you not. So, T57, Tier 10 American heavy tank. I'm going to be doing something new, which is I have the ability to use a mouse, because I'm playing this through Windows Movie Maker. This basically gives me the ability to point at stuff. This is the T57. This is an E75. And it also gives me the ability to pause, and this is kind of like a trial and error. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we'll see. Let me know in the comments, does this work for you guys? But I can now point towards stuff, because I was always jealous of the PC YouTubers because of their ability to point towards stuff, because it does help, cap circle, spawn points, encounter battle. Yeah, it does help 100%. So encounter battle on dreaded Malinovka. I don't know if it's dreaded, it's kind of 50-50, depends. Plenty of epic battles played on Malinovka, plenty of crap battles played on Malinovka, but I never do the 1-2 line. I used to back in the day. There was loads of stuff I used to do. Used to camp on El Haluf in a heavy tank. Used to push line up, along here back in the day, no matter what game mode it was. And I guess, I don't know, it just depends on your level of skill, level of experience. I haven't got a clue. But what I generally find is, there's no benefit from pushing, down here towards the reds, because the cap circle is up here. That's your main objective. That's your main goal. Not to cap out, of course. But if you push towards this area, but you just get bogged down in this area. And likewise, the reds will get bogged down in this area, and then it's just a question of TDs versus TDs. Arty versus Arty. What kind of artillery do you have? What kind of TDs do you have? Do they have? And no good will come out of nothing positive. On the rare occasion, it does work. But majority of the time, you need to be pushing towards the cap circle, 100%. Like I always do when I load into the game, I kind of look at the composition of the red Team, what do they have? I hardly ever look at what we have. You know, I kind of mentioned this in the vid before, how I tank. And the first thing that kind of hits me, the first thing that I look at is mediums. You know, the tier 10s and what mediums do they have? You know, because mediums have flexibility, have versatility. And the thing that kind of hits me straight away is the only tier 10 medium they have is AMX 30B. Not taking nothing away from that tank, but it's not going to work by itself in a platoon with a few other mediums thrown in with the E50M with SDB1. Yeah, but all by itself, this tank is not going to present any kind of threat, any kind of problem to me. TD wise, all they have is a Jaeger. That means no Death Star, that means no Waffle, which is great. They do have a GWE 100, and everything else is just heavy tanks. And this is all about what kind of armor do they have, what kind of gun depression. You know, these are the things that you need to think about when you're facing these tanks. The rest of the team is just nothing. You know, there's nothing there, nothing to speak of, nothing important. So it's a nothing fantastic team, is what I'm trying to say. This red team will pose no threat to myself or my tank. You know, chance to win 50-50. I always think it's 50-50. You know, you've got that mod in the PC version of the game where it says your chance to win is 70%, but based on the tanks, you know, because I don't know, that's mostly based on the player skill level, etc, I think. But based on tanks, it's just 50-50. It's totally up in the air. But as far as I'm concerned, being in a T57 and refreshing my memory how to play in a T57, my thinking was I'm gonna annihilate all of them. You know, I do get lucky. I do 100% get lucky once I'm up on the hill, because keep in mind, I have not touched this tank in 2 years. I have not played this tank in 2 years. You know, I don't particularly like the tank. I'm not that fond of it. I just think it's kind of it's a very odd tank. You know, with other tanks, there's strategies, there's flanking, there's this, there's that. With this tank, you kind of just pop out of cover, unload your shells, 1600 damage, poof, pull back, and regroup and rethink for 20 seconds. You know, and 20 seconds is so manageable. You know, with early on in my World Tanks career, I you know, my first tier 10 was E100, so I was introduced to long reload times a long time ago. You know, I'm used to long reloads, and 20 seconds to me isn't that long. If you're a medium player and all you play is mediums, you're gonna think, oh, that's friggin' long. That's way too long for me. But 20 seconds is it's just the perfect amount, because you unload your shells and you're kind of rethinking. You're planning out your next strategy, your next attack, so to speak. So, like I said, I'm going to be pausing the gameplay here and there, and I'm going to be repeating the game afterwards with no commentary. So, link in the description and all that stuff. And yeah, so it's all about who you're facing in this tank. All about who you're facing. We're coming up here. There's an E5, I believe, is followed by a couple of IS7s. And behind that is a Jaeger and E100 T57. And it's all about catching these guys off guard, hoping they have tunnel vision. You know, you can only point your gun in one direction, and you're looking for moments where their focus, their attention is elsewhere, and you can take advantage for 6 seconds and just pump a whole bunch of shells into them. E5, a bit of a pain in the butt tank to deal with frontally. You know, you really have to aim for that lower plate, you know, on the left, on the right. On the side, that's totally different kettle of fish. If he's hull down, yeah, he's a problem. Side of the turret, no problema. It just depends. But you're going to see he's just totally distracted. he doesn't give me any kind of attention, any kind of respect, and he kind of basically pays the price. And I roll up, I feel confident, I'm not exposing myself to the guys to my right. Second one, third one finally stops him in place, and I take him out. And there you go, in a nutshell, that is the T57, you know. In a nutshell, 100% that is the T57, what I just did there. His focus, his attention was elsewhere. He had tunnel vision for the heavies to my left, and he basically paid the price. He pushed too far, too deep, too soon, whatever you want to call it. IS7, two IS7s now rolling up. I think they're side by side, and I kid you not, you know, IS7s are a pain in the butt. If they're hull down, I'm not gonna pen them. There's just no way, you know. Even in the side of the turret, easily, you know, bounce my shells. They're just a pain in the butt. I believe my focus, my attention is on the E75, and the Rogue T57 pops up. I am going to say that the, you know, this part here is a little bit sloppy because I kind of switch up my plan, and I pay for that as a result, you know, because you want to be engaging on your terms, and this engagement here is not going to be on my terms because I'm going to expose my tank, I'm going to receive a bit of fire, and definitely I'm not going to pen, you know, 4 times. You can see there's the E57, and the Rogue T57 just appears. I managed to track him. I don't aim properly. I'm kind of rushing my shots because I'm receiving fire from down in the valley below from the RU-251, and you know, the shots whizzing past me. And you can see, you know, I paid the price. This was an engagement that I didn't kind of plan on. This was an engagement that wasn't on my terms, and yeah, I paid the price. I lost a little bit of health. I only managed to pen once, and you know, the prior engagement to this with the E5, that's how you play a T57. This basically was not, but you know, that's World of Tanks. You know, stuff happens. What can you do? Now, considering whether or not to re-engage this T57, I can see this heavy tank is kind of taking him on. I'm going to attempt to get shots into this E75. I can pen him here with a little bit of sprinkling of RNG. I can pen him here. A little bit of luck, you know. And the reason why I'm attempting to shoot at this E75, because it's an E75. To me, an E75 is equal to any tier 10 heavy tank. You know, it's a beast of a machine. If it's in the right hands, if the guy knows how to play it properly. So bounce. The second one is I'm gonna pen. Third one is a bounce, and basically the fourth one, he's gonna pull back, turn his turret, and I'm gonna hit him flush on the front part of the turret. I'm gonna get lucky. See, there you go. So I did get lucky there. So 2 pens out of 4, not bad. Not fantastic, not amazing or anything like that. And you can see the reload is just so manageable, you know, so manageable. We've just had an engagement, and 20 seconds later, poof, we're back into the game. Auto aim onto E75. I'm kind of exposing myself here, 100%, you know, from the guys down below. And basically, and here we go. These IS7s, they're still alive. They still got most of their health intact, 100%. And possibly, maybe they fought. I don't know if they paid me any mind. But they got overconfident. They pushed too hard, too deep, just like the E5. And they're about to pay the price. You know, they're 100% about to pay the price. There you go. And another one. And yeah, just shaved off a buttload of his health. He's pulling back. He's in a panic, and he's replaced by the other IS7. You know, they're not in a platoon. No platoons in this game. And And basically, this is kind of autoloader's wet dream. I'm looking for him to pull up behind this building, and I want to track him. So he's permatracked, and he can't return fire. So I want his turret to be, behind the building. I do manage it for a few seconds, but truth be told, it's just like the. Excuse me, pardon my son there. It's just like the prior i7 and the the E5 beforehand. They just. Nobody paid me any mind. This was a T57's wet dream of the game. And here we go. 1, 2, 3. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I really did. I had a buttload of luck in this game. I did 100%. But I did a refresher course in the T57. I did 100%. Look up some vids, kind of reacquaint myself with how to play in this thing. Absolutely. I get very cocky here with this 1390. Don't get cocky, I sloppy, I would say. I get very sloppy because, what are you going to see, basically? I'm thinking to myself, I've had a great game already, just shoot, whatever. So at this point I switch to heat because that's all I have. I have one regular shell, and yeah, we have 3 more clips remaining, and that's it. There's still 5 tanks, and you're gonna see how ineffective like heat is against angled armor, even though it has fantastic pen. Fully was not expecting to pen this Jaegeru, with these shots fired. I wasn't expecting. I was just hoping, RNG, like with the E75, maybe RNG will sprinkle me with some favor, but there's just nothing there. It's not going to work. Even the commander's hatch, way it's angled, nah, So I go for a reload. E100 manages to pen me and take out my gunner. So I'm a one-shot. I'm a one-shot to the Jaeger, one-shot to the E100. And I mean, if they weren't positioned where they were, they would still have a fighting chance. It's a Jaeger, it's a E100, but where they're positioned, they're kind of they're surrounded, so to speak. And but I am the only one left up here on the hill, so, and like I said, I am a one-shot, so it's up in the air and it's not up in the air. So we're looking for the flat parts of the E100 here, and poor old Mr. E100. I'm not in his shoes. I don't know what he was thinking, but he does bounce quite a few times. Is he using the regular shells? I'm not sure. I can't see the colors of the tracers because it's too close. Yeah, what can I say? I'm looking for flat parts. Tracking in place. Yeah, low plate. Second time, no, there's nothing there. Pull back behind this tank. The armor is pretty decent. The turret armor on the T57, it's angled very awkwardly. You will get bounces, and that reload is just like I'm back in the game, baby. Within a matter of seconds. Flat, no, and I just go ham here. Let's just go for it. Finish this guy off. And there you have it. 4 kills, 19 pens, good to go. Annihilated this entire hill. Not single-handedly, just a lot of distracted red players. A T57's wet dream, basically. And as a result, I get 7.5k damage. I don't pick up a gold mastery though, so do not pick up a gold mastery. 95%, what can I say? But a fantastic game, you know. Haven't touched this tank in 2 years. It is what it is. And, yeah. Almost 1700 base XP. Very happy with that. Could not have asked for a better game to showcase the potential of the T57 DPM monster machine. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take it easy. Adios, muchachos.